early in the morning, heart of South Philly. Let's go see what the people have got to say.
I'm ready to roll, baby.
Now listen here, Dutch. Mets and the Cowboys, they suck.
1, 2, 3, go Birds! Go Birds! What we got? 302BIRDS, Stinks. Go Birds! Oh my gosh, Chad.
Your favorite Chicagoan. Go Phils.
As always, God bless. Go Birds.
Get your water ice and soft pretzels ready because you are now tuned into a 302BIRDS podcast experience. Proudly presented by TickPick, Nick's Pizza, El Diablo Burritos, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street. Let's take it to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 302BIRDS podcast. If you guys can't see that familiar face over there, yep, we got Ash back on the show tonight, filling in, subbing in for KJ McCoy. Ash, how you been?
I've been awesome. How have you been?
We've been great. I mean, besides Philly sports letting us down, all
Yeah.
has been great.
Yep.
But yeah, it hasn't been fun, to say the least.
No.
But we got Ash on here tonight. So if you guys want to call into the show and let us know what you guys want to talk about, I'll go ahead and hit that El Diablo intro and bring up the number. That number's 302-316-4848. That's 302-316-4848. Call into the show and talk Philly sports.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302BIRDS sent you. God bless, go Birds.
So while we're waiting for that phone line to ring, I have a question for you, Ash. Stoutland goes away. What's your thoughts on the whole situation?
There is, I think, a lot more than what we are hearing publicly. And I have said that really since like midway through the season, that there is just something that's not matching up here. The fact that he is not going anywhere else and he's just done, to me, kind of is almost worse. Like, I understand he didn't want to go somewhere else and then like potentially fail there. But for someone who has given literally 13 years of their life to this organization, and we would not have been in the same place if it wasn't for him. You think about people like Jordan Mailata, who would have never even had a chance in the NFL if it was not for him. On a personal note, it hurts. And the fact that he basically got told, like, you're gone, so it's a matter of how you handle that without being given any additional opportunities. And now the way that we're hearing it and the way that things are coming out, it very much seems like this whole season felt like he was not heard at all. Yeah. It sucks. That's my initial. Yeah.
No, it definitely hurt. I agree with you. I mean, it was a gut punch. He's been here for 13 years now. You know, when anybody does something for 13 years, it's going to become repetition at some point for the organization and for Stout. Both parties involved. So I just think it's going to hurt a lot for the Eagles when this guy goes to another team and starts having success, because I understand bringing in a new coordinator. You want to give that coordinator an opportunity to bring in their guys, do their thing, have their way, so on and so forth. But at the same time, right, you don't want to say, hey, we're too controlling as an organization. We're not going to give you the reins. Sorry, I'm just sending someone a text to call in if hopefully they do. But 302-316-4848. Sam Nelson, same thing to you if you want to call in. We got about 10 minutes on the segment that we're going to spend on call-ins. But yeah, it's frustrating for Stoutland because you've been doing this for such a long time. You have such a great resume with players like Dickerson, Juergens, Kelsey, Mailata, Jason Peters, Evan Mathis is a name that's forgotten about a lot. I think he coached Harriman's even for a little bit. Like, there have been so many great offensive linemen that have came through Stoutland University and taken Mekhi Becton, right? Like, he could have potentially came back next year. My thing that frustrates me the most is that the opportunity I feel like is missed out on to bring back Lane. It's looking like Lane's going to come back from what I've seen. Lane's working out. I did not expect that. I thought Lane would be like, I'm done. No Stout, no me, right? Like, he's at that point in his career. And I wanted to blame Lane, but I'm really going to respect Lane John. I'm going to have a lot more respect. Not that I don't already, but a lot more. I might have to get a Lane Johnson jersey if he comes back. However, Stoutland not coming back could impact like a player like Mekhi Becton coming back to the Eagles. And that's where this decision kind of let me down and made me upset. But I want you guys to call in 302-316-4848. I want to hear that phone number ring. But in the meantime, I'll also ask you, Ash, we got spring training coming up. I mean, how fun was that a couple years ago when we got to go? What was that experience like as a Phillies fan?
I know, it was almost 2 years ago, I think. 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yep.
Which was crazy to me that it's already been that long. That was a really, really fun week. Getting to spend time not only with you guys, but also seeing Philly Sports Guy and some of our other friends out there. The weather was very nice. It was hot, but not too hot, which I appreciated, coming from the very cold Chicago at the time weather. It was so fun to be able to see everybody coming together, as well. That ended up being, unfortunately, not the season that we were necessarily hoping for, but it really was just so great to be able to be there right at the beginning of spring training when everybody was just so excited to be there. And that was actually when Whit Merrifield was doing well in spring training. We saw one of his homers. Little did we know what was coming for us later that season, but that is something that I will always love, getting the opportunity to spend that time with you guys, and being able to be surrounded by so many Phillies fans is not something that I get to do very often. So that was the start of, I think I went to 2 games that year, and I've gone to multiple games every season since, whether that be in Chicago or Milwaukee. So it was a start of, I think, more of my serious being a Phillies fan. So I am so, so excited for this next season. And also that, I mean, everybody's already reported, or pitchers and catchers have reported. So now we are kind of getting right up into that point of everything getting exciting. It is also the time of the year where winter, I don't know about y'all, but it is feeling very, very, very long. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel now that spring training is here.
I just want to answer this question too. If we could bring back up that comment, I can bring it up too. Yeah, thank you, Jess.
Yep.
What's everyone's opinion on the pick of the new Super Bowl logo? If you want to hear my opinion in depth, go check out 302 Birds on our Instagram, because I made a whole video about it. But long story short, the Eagles are going to be back in the bowl, baby. I don't care that it's Dolphins teal. It's a shade of green. That counts. Same thing with Super Bowl 57. It was a shade of green, so I'll take it. So I think it's going to be Eagles, Broncos, and I do think that there's a conspiracy. Technically, it kept up this year because it was the freaking rainbow, so every color was in it. So you could have argued all 32 teams were in it.
Yep.
But yes, I'm excited. I definitely believe in the logo conspiracy, and I definitely believe that the Eagles will be back in the Super Bowl. What do you think, Ash?
You don't think that orange has anything to do with another NFC team?
I think the Broncos probably have the best shot from the AFC. That's a great question. Maybe the Browns, maybe the Bengals, and Joe Burrow finally put it together. What do you think?
Well, my husband is convinced that this is the year for the Bears. So he was very excited when it came out as an orange logo. He is convinced that this is the year. He did not have a whole lot of expectations this past season and blew them out of the water until the very literally last second. But he is convinced that this is the year. This is Caleb's year. This is, you could put pretty much anybody in that team right now, and he's like, it is the year for the Bears. He was sad for about 24 hours, and then we're on to 2026. You know my husband.
And I just got a text from Dennis. It's probably something with my Wi-Fi, so I apologize to anybody trying to call in. He says it says the line is disconnected, so it's definitely not disconnected. I got to figure out what's up with our Google Voice and everything going on there because it's always something. But I will figure that out. We will have call-ins next week, but let's just go ahead and move on to the ballpark. That was a little bit fun to catch up, get some Philly sports therapy out, of course. And I want to thank El Diablo, of course, for sponsoring that segment too. If you guys haven't, go check out El Diablo Burritos in Delaware, one of the best places to get your
yummy
burritos. Yeah, amazing. And we're going to take it to the ballpark now with the guy who's retired from 302 Birds. Maybe I'll have to change this segment. Sorry, Tom. Or you should call in at some point, Tom. Just saying, we miss you.
Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Finger stitch.
All right, so we're bringing our producer on for the Phillies segment. Get ready because we're going to just break the ice with this. No Castellanos, no invite to spring training. So we'll let you take it first, Jesse. What's your opinion on this? How you feeling about the whole CASTY situation?
I feel like he got disrespected, man. I hate to say it, but you got Nick Castellanos damn near a month toward the season until the season starts. Matt Strom getting shipped off to Kansas City, the bummiest city in all of America, for disrespecting the ownership. I think this sends a message to not just the Phillies organization, but free agency as a whole. Why would you want to come here if Dave Dombrowski doesn't respect you? I mean, listen, Castellanos was bad last year. I think, listen, I could probably have better bats than Nick Castellanos at this point. And I'm in a wheelchair. You know how you strike out Nick Castellanos? Slider 5 feet outside, strike 1. Slider outside, strike 2. Slider outside, strike 3. It was super easy. And I feel like another point that you could probably make, why didn't you bring back Harrison Bader in the first place? It's absolutely ridiculous to me that you let Harrison Bader go and it be a foregone conclusion that he goes. At the very least, I feel like you could, platoon him with one of the worst hitters against left-handed pitching in the entire league in Brandon Marsh. When we saw Harrison Bader not just come up clutch with his bat, come up clutch with his defense. And he didn't create any drama in the locker room, as far as we know, at least. I feel like he was the perfect guy. And what did he get? Like $6 million or something like that? I thought it was ridiculous. What do you think, Ash?
So he needs to leave. That's the bottom line. He needed to leave. I think they dropped the ball multiple times in the offseason. We kept waiting, and during free agency, we kept waiting for something to happen, and nothing did. Which again is leading me to believe that we are just going to be stuck in the cycle of mediocrity until the end of time. At least that's what it feels like. Bottom line, Cassie needs to go. I am very disappointed that they so far have not really been able to get anything out of this. He is a clubhouse cancer, 100%. There were people that were much more deserving of his position, in my opinion. So I'll be very curious to see. From what I hear in the next 48 hours, we'll know a lot more So I'll be kind of curious to see what happens in that next 48-hour time frame, where then I'll be able to kind of give a little bit more insight into what I think the best case, if we won, lost, is it a draw? Honestly, just getting rid of him in any capacity, I think, is a win.
Do you guys think that, and Dalt, I'm sorry.
You're good. I just wanted to say to Ash, I mean, I love you, Ash, but I disagree with you there. I love Casty. I mean, what are we going to do now when there's a tragedy, Ash? There's no positive to come out of it.
What are we supposed to rely on? Who are we supposed to rely on? Otto Kemp? Be serious, man. Otto Kemp? Come on now. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not for this, and I feel like the way that the Phillies are going about it is not right. Like, I think Jesse said it before I left, that they're doing him dirty, and they definitely are, like, from a business standpoint. I think that the whole Casty situation has went sour. I totally get that. All jokes aside, I understand why the organization wants him out. But at the end of the day, with Casty, you can't, like, that makes you look shitty as an organization too, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, I get where the Phillies are coming from. They don't even want him in their locker room anymore. They feel that he's a cancer and they don't want him close to that team. That's why they won't even let him go to Clearwater. But what they're not understanding is that's hurting Casty's trade value, if there's any. But it's also, I feel like, hurting their organization. Like, I understand where they're coming from. They don't want to have that cancer, like I said. But I just feel like other players are going to be turned off by that. Like, you let the guy at least go to spring training and then trade him. I feel like, I mean, you're just giving him 25, I think it's $20 million or $25 million or some $20 million number for free. Just handing it to him. Like, what if he did bounce back? What if he did turn around his attitude and fall in love with this team again? I don't know. We're never going to find out. The world will never know because Phillies are the Phillies. But moving along to our next Phillies topic, we'll start with you, Jess, with this one too. What is your expectations for this Phillies team throughout spring training? What would you like to see from them?
Well, I think that the rookies really have to set the tone this spring. I think that if they don't perform, you're going to see the typical doom and gloom that we've seen the last couple months, deservingly so. But people are forgetting that Andrew Painter was in the top 15 of the draft a few years ago. They are forgetting that this guy, pre-surgery, threw 99 miles an hour on the regular. They're forgetting that Justin Crawford hit 350 in all levels of minor league baseball. And you have to give these guys a shot eventually, especially the pitching situation with Painter. This is a big year for him and the starting pitching rotation in general. We don't know what we're getting out of Zach Wheeler. We lost Ranger Suarez. God knows what you're getting out of Aaron Nola. I love the guy, but he is Mr. Inconsistency. So this is a big year for the starting pitching. And if Dave Dombrowski, what he said the other day, he's looking for consistency with his pitches. He's looking for more control. He doesn't want the walks to be a big factor. He wants the arm to stay fresh. And if we get that from Andrew Painter, and I'll throw in another name, Aiden Miller. They've had him doing reps at shortstop and third base. So if we see Alec Boehm struggling a little bit, I would not be surprised if the trade deadline hits and he's gone and Aiden Miller takes over. It's the young kids' season, baby, and it's time for them to step up big time.
So there's a new daycare coming to town, it sounds like, from Jesse's perspective. Not the old daycare, but a new daycare, a daycare 2.0, one might say.
Yeah. Listen, I feel like this daycare has a lot more potential than the previous daycare.
I like that.
I do, because you don't have 50 million different lefties in the lineup. That's I feel like the Phil's biggest problem. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. This is a season where I really can't get a feel for what we're going to be yet. I think also, again, like I said earlier, I was really, really hoping that they would sign, as Shard says it, sign somebody that would kind of breathe new life into this team. And now I feel like we're just kind of sitting there again, and we're like, okay, we're going to go through the motions this year instead of like, okay, let's actually do something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly, expecting a different result. That is exactly what we've done the last several years. And I have said that about multiple of the Philadelphia sports teams over my 3.5 years that I was on 302 Birds. So this is not the first time that I'm saying this, but this is, again, reiterating the fact that I don't really have great expectations because I'm looking at what we've done in the offseason, which is nothing. And then I'm looking at previous seasons, which also fell short.
I'm excited. I think for the Phillies, this gives them an opportunity to go into the season with a new identity in a way. Like, they are losers. We all know it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like they're not. They need to not be losers. And it's a long season, right? Like, I don't want to sit here and be like, all right, for 160 games, turn it on, kick ass. Like, that's not going to happen. I understand that now watching baseball for a couple of seasons, the season, it's not linear, right? Like it's up, down, up, down, up, down. Like so there's a lot. But what I do want to see from the Phillies is I want to see them bond this spring training. Like I want to see them have fun. I want to see them come out with a new identity because I feel like in 2022, even though we had no expectations, they had an identity, which an identity then creates expectations, if that makes any sense. So I feel like for the Phillies team, that all starts with them bonding as a team, them having fun, and playing like not carefree baseball because I want them to care, but playing like baseball at ease, if that makes any sense. Like just being themselves as a player. That was what I was really happy with what Rob Thompson said. He said, somebody said, what do you want to see from Justin Crawford in spring training? And he said, I just want to see him be himself. Like that's such an awesome thing for a coach to say, because when these players are themselves, when this team is itself, and when this team finds its identity, it will be dangerous. Mark my words. I'm excited for it. I think that the Phillies have some real potential. But moving on now to our next topic, Ash, we'll let you take this one first, ladies first, then we'll bounce it to you, Jesse. Pitchers and catchers are reporting. I know we kind of talked about this earlier, Ash, but I mean, JT's coming back too. How are you feeling about that? He's getting older.
Okay, so maybe I'm the anomaly here, but I was so incredibly excited when it was like, yes, he's coming back. I was really excited personally. Lovely. Sorry, got off track there. Reading and talking at the same time is not my strong suit. So I am so excited that he's back. Also, pitchers and catchers reporting, in my opinion, is the first sign of spring. So for me, it just gives me even a serotonin boost of like, okay, we can do this. I also just think it's fun to be able to see so much more Philly social media content too during the off season, and they try their best, but there's not a whole lot going on. So I am also very excited to see all of that. And yeah, I am just like gung-ho and at least ready for spring and ready to watch some baseball here and there. I will not be totally zoned in though until probably give me July. Late June, early July is when I lock it.
Makes sense. And Jess, if you want, you can answer this too and let us know.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about Rob's comment saying that the team is in a better position this year starting spring training compared to last year?
Oh, man, how do I put this?
Sounds like a true Phillies fan.
Yeah. Listen, I like Rob Thompson, but listen, I'm taking I've taken some PR classes in college. If this doesn't scream PR makeover, PR dingle dangle, if you will, I don't know what does. Because I don't know how you can say on paper after how the Mets did in the offseason. Heck, I'll even put the Braves, but more importantly, the Dodgers, the real contenders, did this offseason. And how Mr. Fossil, Dave Dombrowski, did this offseason. It just doesn't compare. You have an aging lineup. You have a lineup that does not do good against lefties, does not perform in the playoffs. I don't see how this team is a better team than it was last year. Yes, they are going to get their 90 wins in the regular season. I have zero doubt about that. None. And I have zero doubt that they will make the playoffs. I've seen some takes out there that people have said, "Oh, these guys, they're going to get 80 wins and they're going to get bounced in the final week of the season and lose the division to the Marlins," or some crap like that. They're going to make the playoffs. I have no doubt about it. They've got the star power to do that, but they don't have the guts to go far. That's the thing, and that's always been the thing with me. They don't have the heart. They don't have the guts to play in the city of Philadelphia.
I love how you said that. Jason Kelsey would be patting you on the back right now, Jesse, and handing you a garage beer and saying, "Great job, son," because he would agree. I remember a direct quote of him going on 94 WIP and saying, "This team needs more guts." So that was literally the quote that he said. And like, I know what you're saying, like kind of back to my point too, an identity, right? Like they don't have an identity. Like they're just the Philadelphia Phillies, right? Like in 2022, they had these moments too that define them. Like when I think of my greatest moments as being a Phillies fan, one of those moments is sitting on my dad and mom's couch at their house in Newark, literally right downstairs where I'm staying right now. I'm getting ready to move into a new place. But before that, like, you know, staying here, point being, as I'm sitting on that couch, I'll never forget Rhys Hoskins with the bat slam, right? He takes that bat and he just, after hitting a home run, Bryce Harper's home run. And all those moments for me, most of them, I should say, are really that 2022 season. And they had an identity. Like their identity was they were the team that didn't give a fuck. Like, they really didn't care what anybody thought. They had nothing to lose. And that was what made them dangerous. The daycare was still the daycare. They were still young. They had no expectations. So nobody really cared what the Phillies did because they were just the Phillies then. And that's maybe what will make this team, like that may get them over the hump this year. I'm serious. Bear with me because I feel like now that the Phillies are kind of slept on is what I'm trying to say. I feel like it gives them a chance to kind of kick it up a notch and show us like, all right, fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. Fool me three times, Jesus. Like we're still doing this at this point. And I don't know if it's 3 or 4 times with the Phillies that they've fooled us, but it just feels like rinse and repeat. So I feel like a majority of Phillies fans are not getting their hopes up this year because they know, hey, that Michael Scott meme that we all share, like pain, you know, I don't want to feel that pain. So very excited, though, for baseball to be back. Gives us something to do, like that Michael Scott meme, back to it, ready for pain. Jesse, any concluding thoughts you have on the Phillies or anything you're looking forward to this season, brother?
I just am excited for summer ball. That is where the vibes are there. And I cannot wait to share those experiences with you guys, with you, with Fratty, with KJ, all the 302 guys, all the 302 family. If you guys ever see us at those games or any Philadelphia game, feel free to say hi. We won't bite, even though we're from Philly. We won't bite. We're nice people. Come vibe because those summer games, those are vibes. And listen, we'll get to October when we get to October. But I'm just taking things one game at a time, one day at a time. And yeah, I have lowered my expectations for the Phillies. But that's the same thing with the Eagles in my book. That's honestly better for me and my mental health. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things go.
I love it. Well, thank you, Jess. I appreciate you calling in. Hope you have a good night, brother. And I'm really looking forward to going to those games with you, too. If you guys don't, check out Jesse from Philly Sports Pulse and make sure to give them a follow. Hey, good evening. How you doing? Who are we speaking with?
Bird Brains, baby.
Huh?
No, from Bird Brains.
Oh, Bird Brain. How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
I'm not much. How about yourself?
I thought I was... Oh, I am on live.
Yeah, we're live, man. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about 2026 being the year to Barkley.
Oh, okay. So what are you most looking forward to with this Eagles team this season? And as you said, Barkley.
I just need to see this offensive line get reamped up, man. We got a lot of problems on that O-line.
Yeah, we need a lot of help there. Do
need
you want to bring somebody in on the draft, or what's your game plan to fix this offensive line?
think
Because getting rid of Stoutland probably isn't going to help fix your problems, right?
No, but hopefully Nick Sirianni has a trick up his sleeve, you know?
Yeah. Do you think he does?
I don't know. I mean, you're taking the core of the offense and you're scrambling it up every season. I think you need to see more than just one replacement. I know Landon Dickerson. I don't know. I guess he's contemplating retirement, but I don't think that's going to happen. But Jordan Mailata, he played like trash last season. In my eyes, in my opinion.
He wasn't the same Mailata that he normally is. I agree with you there. I think that the whole offensive line last season took a step back. And I think it was almost like once they all saw each other take a step back, I don't want to say that it gave them an excuse to take a step back, but it felt like they cohesively as a unit all took a step back last year, whether it be due to injury or the way that they play. Some of it, wasn't their fault, but there were a lot of times that Jalen Hurts was taking hits that he shouldn't have been taking hits.
Yeah, do you think that's more of like a Super Bowl hangover?
That's a great question. A little bit. Yeah, I do. I think that the team got a little bit cocky is the way I'll view it, right? Like when you go out there and you're a world champion and you accomplish that, we saw it firsthand with AJ Brown's Instagram post that he made the next day about how he felt like he accomplished everything. But you get high on yourself and you get excited. And I do think that the offensive line, being how dominant they were last year, did get a little bit cocky, and not in a bad way. Like, I think some of it's well-deserved for some of those guys, or not well-deserved, but they've been doing it. They have the right to be a little bit cocky, like Lane Johnson, like Mailata to an extent. But guys like Jurgens and Dickerson, you guys are only 27, 25, 26 years old. You still are very young, like we need you guys to deliver and be these long-term players to replace a player like Kelsey. Because,
Exactly.
that's what we need. I mean, what do you think about it?
I just think they were playing with big heads, I guess you can say. You know what I'm saying? Like there was too much confidence, and it kind of backfired on them. With the injuries and all that. It's got to be like a Super Bowl hangover, because that right side of that line was trash. But they didn't run to the right side of that line a lot. You're missing Micah Becton, absolutely, for sure. A lot of them big runs came behind Micah Becton.
Yep.
I agree. And there's still an opportunity for them to bring him back, right? But I think it's going to be a lot more difficult because Stoutland was part of the guy who made Micah who he was. and you're basically taking away the teacher from the Padawan at this point, and you're saying, hey, come on back, it's still good, but, you know, the guy you love isn't here anymore. It's a tough sell.
Well, you got to look at it this way too. I mean, he kind of molded that whole offensive line. There's going to be big shoes to fill.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just want to call on and chit chat with you guys, man. I like you guys.
Hey, man, be sure to call in more often. Now, I know Bird Brain, you said your name was Joe?
Yeah, I'm Joe. Yeah.
Joe, I'm going to be sure to save your contact. Please call in more often, man. You're a great call-in, and you have great things to say. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate what you guys are doing out there, man. Keep it up. Go Birds.
Same to you, man. Go Birds.
Yeah, keep it up.
Thank you. That's what it's all about. Philly sports fans supporting Philly sports fans. And a really interesting call-in right there, talking about how the offensive line and Saquon Barkley should really bounce back next year. I think that's a great take. But Ash, I will kick this to you. And after we get with your take, I got to remind myself that the Balboa Steaks intro, of course, for our awesome sponsor.
Yep.
But this was crazy. This was almost a hot take in itself by Micah Parsons. That he said he was almost traded to this team for Jalen Carter. So I will pose the question to you. Would you have been happy if this team traded, say, Jalen Carter and some picks? We'll say like maybe a second-round pick. So
Yeah.
Jalen Carter and a second-round pick for Micah Parsons, straight up.
Yes. My thoughts on Jalen Carter have been well documented since before he was an Eagle. Literally my first couple of shows on, you can look back. This season, there were a lot of things that just happened this season. And I will say, I highly doubt in actuality that Jerry Jones would have allowed this to happen solely because of the fact that it was with the Eagles. And from what I heard, he really was the one that was like, hell no, this ain't happening. I think Micah went to really the team that was best set up for him in that moment to set him up for success with the Packers. That may be a hot take, but really out of any of the teams that he went to, I think the Packers were the best fit for him. We know that my issues with Jalen Carter are not necessarily with him as a player, but him as a person. I don't know enough about Micah Parsons as a human being to kind of be able to put my opinions on him as a person into all of my opinions on this. I just know that at some point, I don't think Jalen Carter is going to perform up to the caliber that we will need him to be to sign him to a big contract. Again, I hope I am wrong, but I don't know that I will be wrong. So again, if you would like to see all of my opinions on Jalen Carter, you can scroll way back and find, I'm sure, some great clips of that throughout the years. What do you think?
I'll say this. I, at first, probably would have been down for this trade. Sleeping on it, thinking about it over the week and weekend, I don't think that this would have been a good move for the Eagles. I just feel like a lot of players nowadays don't have the best attitude. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that Jalen Carter, the guy who spit on somebody week one and got ejected, has the best attitude, right? Like, I'd be a hypocrite. But at the same time, Jalen Carter is just such a different tier and caliber player than Micah. And I also feel like he is a champion. Like he's happy in Philadelphia. He likes to be here. So this story getting out could cause some problems for the Eagles and Howie. Like you could have Jalen Carter pissed that this was even a discussion. I mean, it's honestly upsetting. And I feel like for the Eagles, this story getting out can cause more damage than doing any good. So I hope and I pray that this is just a rumor. It's not true. And honestly, looking back on it, yeah, like this would be dumb on the Eagles' part. Jalen Carter is so much better. And Micah Parsons just doesn't have a good attitude. And I just feel like Jalen just fits in better in this city. So it's just wild that this was even tossed out. And it's kind of crazy because I feel like these podcasts with these players, look, we're podcasters. We're normal people. It's not like I'm out there on the field. I'm doing anything. Get out of here, Con. It's not like I'm on the field or doing anything like that to impact the game, right? But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is like those players are. So them getting on a microphone and speaking about it has more implications, a lot more implications than us. Like even AJ Brown just sitting in on that interview where this was brought up could cause drama, could be an
Oh yeah.
issue. And the Eagles already have enough changes going on. Like we don't need this more.
Well, and I will say, like, from again being married to a Bears fan, when this trade came through, you would have thought that the world was ending. I probably could have heard Connor from work at that point, in the way that he was completely devastated by the fact that this trade, I mean, it definitely did have implications on the Bears this season. Who knows what would have happened if he would not have had all of the things that happened to him near the end of the season. But the fact of the matter is that he completely gave a team that was, I mean, the Packers were good. I don't want to like dish on, make the Packers seem worse than they are, because they were a solid football team, but they suddenly catapulted to a Super Bowl caliber team. And that, at least many would say, and it was very interesting to then see the locker room dynamic change as well. That's always like what I am super interested in, is like the way that one person can either like very well benefit a locker room and not. That's been my biggest issue with Jalen Carter and some of the other people. CJ, I remember I was very against us ever bringing him back due to some of the issues that he caused. That's, I guess, my empath kind of coming out into the football world. But it has been fascinating to just see how these podcasts of all of these different people with the players on have just very much kind of, I feel like, changed the NFL in the way of like that we're getting so much more instant information than we have been in the previous seasons in the last like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and definitely a hot take from Micah Parsons. Probably the hottest take we've heard all offseason, which is actually a great segue into our intro. I want to thank, of course, Balboa Steaks for sponsoring this segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. The final word, the boldest take, the mic drop moment that hits harder than a Rocky's right hook. This is the Knockout Punch, powered by Balboa Steaks, the undefeated king of Delaware steaks. Bold takes, big bites. Let's swing.
I just wanted to play that intro. I know we just gave the hot take that Micah gave the hot take. But as we get into the Philly season, we will have more hot takes for you guys and the best steaks in Delaware, Balboa Steaks. If you guys haven't, check them out, the king of Delaware steaks. So the last thing I just want to say about this before we wrap up the show, and if you guys aren't doing anything tonight, come check out Jesse and Dennis on the Sixers post-game show. They're going to be holding it down there. I'll be tuning into that. And then tomorrow night, check out Philly Sports Pulse on the channel. They will be live doing their thing. Under the Wing, we're trying to figure out what they're going to do so far, whether or not they're going to take the off-season off for the NFL, or if they want to start to do something maybe like a bi-weekly. So once we know what happens with Under the Wing, we'll announce that. But I want to thank everybody for their support of the network and everybody who has just backed us. If you aren't, be sure to like, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe, because all those little things really help the channel out a ton. But what interests me is the one thing that made this trade not go through is that Micah didn't want to not play with Jalen Carter. And I find that very interesting. I think that just goes to show the value of a player like Jalen Carter. And if you think about what the Eagles maybe would have had to give up to have Jalen Carter and Micah playing next to each other, it probably would have been significant. But at the same time, if you think what that would have been like, if that would have went through, how broken that would have been for the Eagles, and how happy Ash's husband, Connor, would have been as a Packers fan, or as a Bears fan, that he's not going to the Packers, I should say. Yeah, it would have been a lot of fun and something to see.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the Eagles couldn't get the trade done. I just find it fascinating that this was even being talked about. But that's all we got for you guys tonight. I want to thank Ashley for stepping in, subbing up, for KJ McCoy, who's enjoying the Sixers game tonight. As Jesse did a great job highlighting too. If you guys see us, say hi. Jesse, I thought you beautifully said that. You did a great job with that. If you see us, say hi. I know we're Philly sports fans, like he said, but yeah, we don't bite. If you guys see KJ McCoy, say hi to him. He would really appreciate that. And that's kind of why we're building this network, and all the great things that we're trying to do is we're trying to give you guys the best experience we can to consume Philly sports content. But other than that, that's all I got. Ashley, anything you want to say before we wrap up? And thanks again for subbing and stepping up.
Yeah. So I guess I just gotta say, spring is coming, everybody, and go Phils. Hopefully we can break this cycle of insanity and something will happen this year that we will all be proud of.
Yeah, you're right. Well said. Spring is almost here. Spring training is almost here. Let's go Phillies. Thank you guys, as always. As always, God bless, go Birds, and we'll see you guys next week on 302 Birds.
What we got? 302 Birds, Stinks. Go Birds. Oh my gosh, Chad.
Your favorite Chicagoan, go Phils.
As always, God bless, go Birds.